take a question from the audience, shall we? Aha. Jack from Pomona, California asks, what is your issue with Sean McVay? All he does is win. Shouldn't that be all that matters? Asked Jack. Jack. Sean McVay flat out annoys me. And my point is, the reason I bring it up on TV and I brought it up on last week's podcast was I believe he just annoys the hell out of his Rams players that he coaches. They are the Hollywood stars. They play the game. Sean just coaches the game. Yet it's clear to me that Sean wants to be the face of the franchise and the center of attention at every single moment. I'm just not sure that plays that great in the locker room. I can't take it away from what happened Sunday because they won. But I'm going to remind you what happened the day Tom Brady visited earlier this season, visited SoFi Stadium. What happened? 75-yard touchdown pass happened to a receiver who's no longer obviously with the Rams, Deshaun Jackson, favorite of mine. 75 yards, and Sean McVay, as I call him, did something I've never, ever in all my years covering the National Football League or college football, high school football, I've never seen a coach do this. He sprints the length of the sideline and up the tunnel to congratulate a receiver who was soon to be cut by the Rams. Really? Coach McVay, that's a high school move. It's definitely a look at me move. So we could argue all day about his game plan Sunday Super Bowl. Did he run too much? They went 23 times and managed 43 total yards. How they won that game doing that, I don't know. That's 1.9 yards per attempt. Maybe he hung on too long to the run game. Maybe Matthew Stafford took him off the hook with that last-ditch drive. All I know is once they won that game, barely, Coach McVay was all over the field, photobombing interviews being done by his stars, his Hollywood stars. I look up, it's Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp being interviewed. Obviously, Cooper Kupp, Super Bowl MVP, Matthew Stafford, star of the moment, and photobombing is Coach McVay. His head pops in between them. Hey, everybody. He's photobombing. Want to ask me a question? No, not really. They're trying to ask the quarterback and his receiver. No, really not. I look up a few minutes later, and it's Aaron Donald, a potential MVP candidate in the Super Bowl, and it's Von Miller, who was also actually a potential MVP candidate in the Super Bowl. And photobombing popping up between them was Coach McVay. Hey, everybody, look at me. You want to ask me a question? Not really. We were talking to Aaron Donald, but we will. We'll go ahead and ask you, Coach. He just can't help himself. And I can't help talking about this on national TV. I got nothing personal against him. I've just been doing this for too long. Trust me, that kind of egomania in your young head coach over time will not play well in your Los Angeles Rams locker room. Monday on Undisputed, day after the Super Bowl, we had our man Eric Dickerson on. As I call him, I nicknamed him the Rambassador. And I felt like we'd gone back and forth all season about the Rams. He ripping my Cowboys, me scoffing at his Rams. And I felt like we owed him a moment or two to gloat about his then Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, I didn't mind gloating briefly about the $500 he lost to me on the game because he gave me Cincinnati plus 21 points. Thank you very much, sir. I never sweated that. I did pick Cincinnati to win the game 23-21. I thought they had a real shot. I think they got absolutely robbed by a call that came with 1 minute and 47 seconds left in the game. It's not my point to go into this right now, but if you heard me on Undisputed, that was not holding. Our man Mike Pereira at Fox said that was not holding. And yet a flag flew, and instead of the Rams facing 4th and goal from the 8, good luck on converting that, Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp, as much magic as you guys have made. It was 1st and goal at the 1. It's game over. Thank you very much. But $500, not that I'll ever see it from Eric, but as I said on the air, that was $500 worth of pride. So we're sparring. We're going back and forth about this and that. Hey, Eric, you being the greatest running back ever, that's my opinion. How'd you like your Rams totaling 43 rush yards on 23 tries? So we're trash talking each other. And out of the blue, my man Eric Dickerson, ED, hits me with this. You just don't like Matt Stafford, do you? As if I had something personal against Matt Stafford. And it stunned me, stopped me in my tracks. It offended me. But again, we're in full debate mode. And it's why I love doing this. I don't have time to stop down and talk Eric through my philosophy of what I do and don't do on my show. Trust me on this. From the bottom of my heart, I take this way too seriously, but this is what I'm all about. This is the essence of me. This is what I am made of. This is why I get so emotional about this, is I just evaluate a player's performance, period, end of story. It doesn't matter whether I like him or I don't like him personally. It factors nothing into my thought process of evaluating his performance. I might like a guy, and if he plays poorly, I promise you, I'm going to tell you he played poorly. I might not like a guy for whatever reason, and if he plays great, trust me, I'll rave about him. It's happened thousands of times, millions of times in my career. I owe that to you. And trust me, I take it way too seriously. I'm not going to betray you. I'm not going to deceive you. I'm not going to sell out because I like somebody or know somebody. I did not get into this business to buddy up to players. I know there are some people that I've dealt with in this business who did. That's the only reason they got into this business. It's not me. It's to a fault, not me. Sometimes my wife, Ernestine, says, why don't you have him on for an interview or him on? Well, he's not going to come on because he doesn't like what I've been saying about him. I don't care. That's not the lifeblood of Undisputed is interviews. It's a debate show. And I don't know how you can debate in full conscience when you get close to this player or that star player or this coach or that GM, because you're going to have to protect them. In the debate format, you're going to have to bite your tongue and play dodgeball. You're going to have to sidestep. You're going to have to betray and deceive you to make it through the debate. And I just don't play that game. So what do I know about Matt Stafford? Well, once upon a time at the end of the Tim Tebow run, was that some run from me in my career? That was back in 2011 when I was at ESPN on First Take. We took the show to Denver that year. I did the show from a bar. Early in the morning, it was packed, people hanging from the rafters before they played Tom Brady and company. And Brady just destroyed Tebow that day because Psycho Tom came out. But it was such a wild run that at the end of it, we made a connection with Tebow's people, and he said he would like to sit down and do an interview with me at the Super Bowl. Okay, I'm not going to buddy up. I still don't know Tim Tebow. I haven't had long conversations with him. But we said, okay, we'll do that. They wanted to do it, so we were going to meet at the Super Bowl in Indianapolis. It was the second Eli Brady Super Bowl. And we're doing First Take live out of there. And I'm trying to sort of conduct the whole show on my own. So we had various other people come on live before post-show. I was going to sit down with Tebow for like an hour. Well, that day, guess who came on? A Detroit Lion quarterback named Matthew Stafford. And he knew I spent some time in Dallas. He went to Highland Park High School in Dallas. I used to date a woman and went to Highland Park, blah, blah, blah. So we're talking in the break, and we're having a really good conversation because I got to tell you, I think Matt Stafford's a really good guy. Seriously. I didn't get to know him that well, but he was really a good interview. He really warmed up and opened up, and he was trying hard to give me all he could as the Detroit Lions quarterback. And I enjoyed it. I do. I just have a vibe that he's a pretty good, he might be a really good guy. And then guess what? I'm a member at a country club here, a golf club for me. That's all I do is play golf there. Don't have much time for socializing. It's called Brentwood Country Club. It's right down the street from where LeBron lives, or at least the last time I checked, he still lived there. Not sure if they've moved to Beverly Hills, but that's where he first located in LA. It's just a couple of blocks away from Brentwood. And 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago, Matt Stafford obviously relocates to LA. And out of the blue, he joins Brentwood Country Club. I don't know him, haven't seen him there. I probably will run into him now, but put me in a little bit of an awkward spot because I just haven't believed in Matt Stafford's ability to win on the Hollywood stage. And as I started to say on Undisputed, the Matt Stafford I've followed very closely in Detroit, where he went 74, 90, and 1 with Megatron as his primary receiver, was known as a big play playmaker and a big mistake maker. On that Hollywood stage, it can be a lethal combination. So what did Matt Stafford do this first regular season with the Rams? He led the NFL in interceptions. He also led the league with 4 pick sixes. It's hard to throw 2 or 3. 4 is really hard to do, but he managed to throw 4. And then what happened in the big playoff game after they'd lost 6 in a row to their arch rival 49ers? NFC Championship game, 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. What happened? Matt Stafford did what I thought he was going to do. He threw it right down the middle of the field to nobody. Not sure if it was to Odell on the left or Van Jefferson on the right. He split the difference, and he threw it to Jaquiski Tartt, the safety for the 49ers. Hit him right in the breadbasket. Looked like he was primary receiver on the play. I don't know how you could have thrown it and hit him any better than right here. And Tartt dropped it. I think he dropped the Super Bowl for the 49ers. They were up 17-14 at that moment. And I think a momentum swings so wildly back in their favor. By the way, I think Tartt could have run with it a little ways. I don't know, maybe 15, 20 yards the other direction. And he just dropped it. And he let Matt Stafford off the hook.